Hello, everybody. I want to talk a little today about the raw food diet and doing it 100% versus doing it any less than 100%. And also talk about the addicting uh, process of eating cooked food, whether that means going back to cooked food or adding cooked food a little to your diet or just having a plan to continue to hold on to your cooked food. Cooked food is an addictive process. It's an addictive thing. Some people call their food that they eat comfort foods. They're used to eating certain foods like potatoes or grains that they grew up with. Some of it is animal products. They can't let go of their milk. They can't let go of their meat. I meet a lot of people that are sick and diseased, and I tell them, if you just got rid of meat, I don't even talk about raw food. Just stop eating meat, your health would change. And they say, well, they don't want to do that. It reminds me of the person that I know who once had type 2 diabetes, and I said, and he was on insulin. And I said, I can get you off your insulin within 30 days if you just followed my suggestions. Started living a better lifestyle. And he said, well, if I have to change what I eat, I don't want to hear it. And when people hear that reasoning or that excuse, they say, that is absolutely terrible. Then people do the same thing when I say, if you want to get better from your illnesses, if you want to avoid getting sick, just simply start by stop eating meat, stop consuming animal products. And people don't want to hear that. The average person today, literally 90 to 95% of what they eat comes from a bag, box, container, or can. And the only thing they don't eat that comes from a bag, box, container, or can is some dead carcass. And people wonder why they're sick, and they think it's a miracle that somebody could eat a raw food diet and get better from something like cancer, when I think it's a miracle and amazing that somebody's going to eat as better as they eat for as long as they eat and not get cancer. The body is amazing and truly can deal with a lot, and you have to work very difficult and take a long time to get to a state of sickness and illness that many people are under today. If you did nothing but ate the diet we were supposed to eat, we would not suffer from the same level of disease we suffer from today. And on a personal level, if you're suffering from any form of disease or any chance of getting a disease, it's often diet related. And some people say, well, it's not all about diet. A lot of it has to do with our thoughts and our mental and emotional state. But your mental emotional state is often determined by the food you're eating. Just think about it. If you're eating foods from a box, can, or bag for your whole life, and the only thing you're eating that's not in the bag, box, can, or can is a carcass, you're not going to be mentally in the best, clearest state as you could be, and your thinking is not going to be there. Something's going to be off. And it's so addictive that there are people that are literally suffering with cancer and told they have only weeks to live, and you try to tell them if they ate healthy and started juicing, going on a juice fast, or just eating raw foods and getting rid of cooked foods or even just animal products from their diet, they look at you like you're crazy. It's like you're laying here dying, or you can't get out of bed because of your illness, or you're suffering so much from your arthritis, inflammation, or you're just not mentally in the right place. And all of this is proven to be diet related. But even if you don't believe it, just try. Just try for a week, for a month, for a couple of days. Try to eliminate the things that are creating the problem. But people aren't willing to let go of their addictions. I think everyone would just be, if everyone did a fast, a trained water fast, and then transitioned into juicing, and then got rid of those addictions and those cravings, the amount of disease that people are suffering would cut down tremendously. There's a place called Hippocrates Health Institute here in West Palm Beach, Florida, that I went to when I was younger. I didn't know anything about raw food. All I knew was I was sick and I wanted to get better, and the doctors weren't helping me. I ended up at this place hearing about the raw food. I asked my doctor. My doctor told me, no way, don't do that. Well, she wasn't getting me better, so I had no other choice but to try something else. The first addiction I had was I was trained to listen to doctors and think medical people knew better about my body than I did. Well, when I broke out of that and I listened to these people that said, eat a raw food diet, and started juicing and eating fruit and vegetables, and not store-bought junk, but literally went out of my way a little to get organic fruits and vegetables. Everything changed. The first thing that changed was I felt less sick. Less sick. I wasn't getting sick as much. It's like, this is amazing. And I'm a young guy. What about somebody who's older? Amazing. I stuck with it all these years. And the one time I said, well, let me try eating a grain or something, all of a sudden that addictive thing starts coming back. I know somebody who smokes, literally told they have to stop smoking and they're not willing to stop smoking. Those cigarettes are so addicting. It's literally killing people. We shouldn't call them cigarettes. We can call them choke sticks. People are suffocating on their own cigarettes, but they continue to do it. And people say, that's crazy. But those same people will go and eat a carcass and eat processed food for their whole life. That's just as crazy and just as sick. But it doesn't sound it because the media in the world has given this false idea that, oh, there's nothing wrong with cooked food or processed food. Eating processed food every day and every meal is the same thing as somebody with a warning or lung issues that continue to smoke. It's the same thing. You're asking for problems. You're asking for problems. Now, does a person need to be on a 100% raw food diet to experience the benefit of raw food? No. But if you're going to have cooked food in your diet and your lifestyle, you're always going to have that addiction there. And it's going to make eating raw foods more challenging. But when you go all raw, it's not a problem anymore. You don't think about it. I have no cravings at all for cooked food. But remember, with any addiction, one little bite can bring you back to those addictions and open up those floodgates. And I've seen that happen to a lot of people. The question isn't, can we get more nutrients out of this cooked food, or if we eat something this, look, if our Creator, this is important to understand. If our Creator wanted us to eat something, we would be able to eat it in its raw state. You understand? If our Creator wanted us to eat something, we'd be able to eat it by picking it right off the tree and eating it. You see that? That's a mango. I don't have to cook that to eat that. You pick it off the tree and you can eat it. And I could put that mango in a blender and blend it. I could juice it, but it's going to be healthy and okay for me to eat. Now, the skin on that's even edible. People don't know that, but the point being is what He doesn't want us to eat, He made poison and so on. So some people say, well, if I cook my foods, I could get rid of some of the toxins from these foods, some of the poisons from these foods. Maybe that's a sign we shouldn't be putting in our bodies. So the question out there now becomes, how many of you are willing to eat your carcasses raw? And I don't advocate that at all. But there are people that actually do that. But I don't advocate it at all. My point is, if you can't eat it raw, don't eat it. Don't eat it. Now, I'll sprout some of my foods. They're still safe. I don't have to cook them. I'm actually giving a life into them. I'm putting the life into them. That's truly live food, is eating sprouts and microgreens. But when you have to process your food, you're going backwards. You're going backwards. And your health is going to suffer for it. It really is. And the thing is, there aren't too many people in this world that are able to overcome these addictions that they've been trained with. But when you find somebody who has been able to, and you look at their health, you could see the difference right there. And in my book, I've interviewed a bunch of people in my book, The Raw Life, who've been eating a raw food diet for many, many years. And you see the transformation they've made. And I've been eating this way, and I'll tell you, the energy levels, the thinking, the clear thinking. I really wish people would overcome their addiction so they could experience the beauty of the raw food diet, the raw vegan diet. We don't even have to give it a label. We could just say, look, here's what it comes down to. Food is supposed to have a life process to it. You have your ripening stage, your freshness stage, and your rotting stage. Those are the three stages of food: ripening, freshness, and rotting. If that's not happening to your food, there's a good sign that there's no life in that food. So you take, for example, a mango. It's on the tree right now. Don't eat it when it's not ripe, but when it gets ripe, comes off the tree, it's at its peak in taste. You eat it, it's at its peak in nutrition and everything else. But then it gets overripe and starts rotting. You don't eat it at that stage. It starts fermenting. You don't eat it at that stage. But that's it. That's all. And you put the skin back on the ground, or if you don't eat the skin or whatever, and it regenerates, you can make another tree from the seed. That's live food. That's life. That's the way it's supposed to be. As opposed to taking something in a box, opening up, you cannot touch it for maybe 5 years. It'll look the same exact way. It's amazing. It's amazing. And there's ways to still get the benefit of eating your foods, uh, to have that same cooked food taste without having to cook food feelings. So you can still eat delicious raw foods without the addictiveness of cooked food. You can make raw food recipes and these things to make it more palatable. If you have issues with eating a fresh mango, which I don't know anyone who has or is, or it's just amazing. And the thing is, there's so much more you could do with this. There's so many different flavors, and I got all these mangoes here. I'm gonna make a raw food pie. I'm not gonna cook it. You make a crust out of some nuts and seeds and blend up some mango, and maybe blend some bananas with it, blend it up, put it in there, sprinkle some coconut on it, put it in the fridge. Now I got a raw food pie, and it has life in it. And it's gonna be fresh, and it's gonna go bad very quickly because the life is in it. That's how you know. What I do in the mornings is I'll have some fresh juice. That's the best water in the world is the juice. Get some fresh juice. I'll make a carrot juice or a carrot spinach juice or kale apple juice, and just put that through the juicer. You got some juice, some liquid, have some mangoes, have some salad. It's not difficult. My focus of life is not on food. My focus on life is life. I'm not spending my days sick and diseased like so many people are. Look at all those mangoes. Life is good. Many people get excited when they see McDonald's or get into a restaurant. I get excited when I see food growing on my tree, when I see food growing out of the ground. All right, everybody. If you have comments or questions, I have my member website, rawlifehealthshow.com, where I have a bunch of recipes, and I also have a bunch of interviews with people that have been eating this way for a long time. I also do live Q&A. I also do questions and answers that I've recorded from many over the years. You can check that out, rawlifehealthshow.com. For just $1, you can check it out for 3 days and see if you like it or not. If you don't like it, there's no obligation to join or stay there. rawlifehealthshow.com. I'll put the link below. Until then, everybody, have a blessed day and a great raw life.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show.